With Kelowna Lake Country MP Liberal Stephen Fuhr. Stephen, without getting into details, obviously a firestorm over a Facebook page by the Okanagan Conservatives. Can you kind of give us your take on what's been happening the last 24 or 48 hours?
I thought the post was inappropriate. I thought it was uncalled for. I thought it was disrespectful, and I don't think that represents the community we're trying to build. I don't think it represents our country, and I was disappointed.
Why?
I think there's always going to be maybe a small underlying sentiment. People have their own opinions, but we're really focused on building a diverse, inclusive country. I travel a lot. I go to NATO. I go to the UN. I talk to lots of ambassadors, and people are really impressed how Canada is managing itself, is governing itself. I mean, we're a country of immigrants, all of us, and it's kind of cliche to say that our strength is because of our diversity, but it's 100% true. And I think when we start to undermine that sentiment, I don't think that there's any value there, and I think it's damaging. I mean, one of my favorite quotes by our Prime Minister is, "Canada didn't happen by accident, and it won't continue without effort." And part of that effort is when we see this kind of negativity, this type of sentiment, that we call it what it is, and we reject it. One of the things I'm hearing is that it's just somebody's random Facebook page, but I did go back and forth with Dan Albas on this issue on Twitter. He clearly says that Okanagan Conservative Facebook page is the official Facebook page of the Kelowna Lake Country Electoral District Association. Those are his words. He mentioned that he had approached them and disagreed with what they had done and asked them to take it down, which is the right thing to do. And then he apologized to the minister, which, good on Dan. But in doing all of that, he essentially tied that Facebook page, Okanagan Conservative Facebook page, to the Kelowna Lake Country Conservatives. The way that thing rolled out, from an inappropriate tweet to doubling down on it to eventually removing it, the fact that it was up for a couple of days, I think that there needs to be some serious reflection on the issue, and just trying to make this all about a tweet, an inappropriate tweet. It's much bigger than that.
You mentioned the phrase un-Canadian. It's not Canadian. With what's going on down in the United States and the fact that racism does bubble, what is Canadian? What is un-Canadian?
I am immersed in political discussion all the time. I'm alert to what's going on, and what we see in the United States happening, which is somewhat terrifying because we're so economically tied to them. They've been our best friends for most of our lives, and it's disheartening to see some of those relationships challenged. But to think that some of the antisocial sentiment that we see happening down in the States, to think that we're immune to that, I think is naive, like I said, and it's happening here. It's just insidious. It's happening very slowly. That's why I think when we see it happen, we need to call it what it is, talk about it, and move forward, because if we just ignore it, I think it'll just build and build and build, and the next thing you know, it'll boil over, and we'll all end up someplace that we don't want to be.
With Kelowna Lake Country Liberal MP Stephen Fuhr, I'm Wayne Moore for Castanet News.